in both cases, both ships pushed their engines harder than they were reasonably supposed to and risked permanent damage. The Carpathia and the Olympic.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about
About Olympic, I'm sure.
yeah.
I'm sure. But in case of Carpathia, like it was once said that the only thing the Carpathia's captain at the time loved more than the sea was God, and he was convinced he got a mission from God to save the survivors of the Titanic, and he moved like a man possessed because of that.
Interesting.
Among the things he ordered to do, he basically diverted power from any non-critical systems to put into the engines to push the ship faster and faster. Hot water and just heat in general, oh, those got shut off. The breakfast menu that the chefs would have eventually started preparing, tell them, nix that. You're making soup and bread for the survivors we pick up. Posted extra lookouts on board, like on the ship, so they'd be able to spot obstacles faster, and they had to dodge multiple icebergs on the way to Titanic's wreck site here, which they were headed toward the wrong set of coordinates because it was, well, difficult to navigate that night given the weather conditions.
Right.
Honestly, it's a miracle that Officer Boxhall managed to get a head approximation within 13 nautical miles of their actual position. Everything they did risked making the freaking boilers and engines explode. They ran a gamble. It paid off this time, but Carpathia would never push herself this hard again. To my knowledge. They were the first on the scene, coming with the dawn, and they only spotted the survivors because, well, again, the weather conditions allowed for cold water mirages, which in turn let them spot a green flare from one of the lifeboats.
All right.
Yeah. The more I read about that night, the more chaotic I realize it was.
It was already pretty freaking chaotic. Anyway, hello everyone. Welcome back to the cave. Vegas Bear here as always with Mekumon.
Hello. Ready to slaughter some demons?
Oh, hell yes. Pun intended.
Pun appreciated.
We are finally back at it with Doom 64.
With Tavern of Spooks out of the way, we'll likely be ready to jump into the 2010s Doom games pretty soon.
Yep. Just gotta remember how far we were into this one.
I just remember a puzzle that drove you up a wall. I know that's not really specifying much. Do you realize how little that narrows it down?
Yeah.
something about pressure plates.
Oh yeah. There was a key, a cage, a platform, and some pressure plates.
Also, while I'm in the process of shutting my PlayStation off to bring my focus to Doom here, here's a little something I spotted. Apparently, Minecraft got a Dragon Ball Z DLC.
What?
Yeah, seriously. Just straight up Dragon Ball Z themed add-on. Skins, techniques, locations.
I was gonna say that sounds awesome.
What I find hilarious is that I've yet to see any of the Saiyans go super in this little trailer thing. But there are collectible Dragon Balls.
Nice.
And an actual tournament mode. There's the Super Saiyan.
Fuck.
Lucky.
Thank
And
you.
I also know what character I'm likely to be maining if and when I pick this up. Hello, Majin Buu. My favorite villain from the show. My earliest Dragon Ball memories are of, like, watching the Buu Saga on TV.
That's fair. For me, I think it was the tail end of the Frieza saga.
It's like, I remember a little bit of the Cell Saga. I didn't actively watch the show at that point. I really wasn't into, like, watching Toonami consistently at that point. I was still a bit young. But, once I did start getting into Toonami consistently, mostly around the summer, I was watching G Gundam, funny enough. That's when I started seeing more of DBZ and realizing, I actually kind of like this. And now I understand the references the kids are making at my school. You know exactly what I'm going to be talking about when I say there were kids who, in the lunchroom and on the playground, were, like, pretending to do DBZ-style fights, calling out attack names. In my school-specific case, they treated it more like a game of rock, paper, scissors, with certain techniques beating others. And apparently you could just block Kamehamehas. But not spirit bombs.
Oh yeah, no, those are completely...
The only way to beat a spirit bomb was to use a Kamehameha, funny enough. Which, you know, it does kind of match the internal logic of Dragon Ball. You're blocking a Ki Blast with a Ki Blast. Even if, technically speaking, they're using two different types of Ki. But, that's semantics. And these are kids who wouldn't care. Even back then, as a kid, I knew Majin Buu was gonna be one of my favorite villains. I was just in time to gather a little bit of the personality of the... We called him Fat Buu at the time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Mr. Buu. which is the nickname they gave him after he turned good. But, like, I was just in time to had an eyeful of his personality, and I knew from right there, I like this one. He's silly.
God, I remember when... What was his name? Adult Boo? Super Boo?
Depends on which variation you're going for. Was he still pink?
Yes.
Looked like a buff version of the normal Boo without the vest?
Yep.
Super Boo.
Alright. So, I remember when he got to the Watchtower.
Oh, yeah. That scene on the lookout.
Yeah, the lookout. Where fucking Piccolo he essentially gambles with the human race. Telling Boo, go kill everyone on Earth first.
And then our fighter will be ready for you when you get back. He's banking on the idea that this would take hours, if not days.
And then Boo raises his hand in the sky.
Okay, bet.
And goodbye, humanity.
Naturally saved for Mr. Satan. Because of course Hercule would miraculously survive. Good thing too, because he was actually pivotal for the defeat of Kid Buu at the end. He's the only character for the Dragon Ball Z anime to successfully live through the whole thing without dying, even once. No resurrections.
Which is wild. Because I'm pretty sure, like, everyone in that cast has died at least once.
To quote Dragon Ball Z Abridged, died, yes, Jesus, come on, we've all done it at least once. I haven't. Give it enough time to hang with the right crowd.
Oh, that was dark.
Sad thing is, Chaozu was right.
Yeah. But yeah, like, just raising the arm lets out the most massive beam spam I think I have ever seen.
An attack that actually does have a name.
Oh?
And it's incredibly on the nose. The Human Extinction Attack.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, like, Annihilation.
That would be equally valid, but that's not the name I've seen used to describe this attack. They call it the Human Extinction Attack. Because that is precisely what it did.
So, and, like, my jaw hit the fucking floor when I realized what it was. In fact, I think Piccolo was doing the exact same thing.
Because, like, after giving that challenge for anybody in the audience who miraculously didn't see this part of DBZ in any form, Super Buu just takes a casual stroll around the edge of the lookout, the full circle, as he's kind of gauging what's down below. And once he's satisfied, that's when he raises his arm and basically just starts charging that blast.
Mm-hmm.
And with a demented grin, he lets it go.
And then there was the horrifying fate of the Lookout survivors.
Which I'm going to start with the comparatively least horrifying of the bunch. Chi-Chi. She basically was preparing to verbally and physically slap some sense into Boo with a very long lecture, basically demanding he give back the people he killed. Very irrational, but Chi-Chi just lost her kid and is grieving, so I cannot really blame her for this. Boo just turns her into an egg and stomps on it. A freaking Transfiguration Beam, one of the most busted moves in all of Dragon Ball. You can turn anything into anything else.
A move that he uses mostly just for candy.
Cut to the DBZ Abridged team doing their little Majin Buu shorts, where Hercule, exasperated, convinces Majin Buu to not eat people by just turning rocks into the food he wants. And Buu takes to it immediately, calling Hercule a genius. There's always gonna be rocks everywhere. There's something else Boo did that is like low-key horrifying in a filler episode, but that was before Super Boo, so I'm gonna leave that alone for now. We'll get back to that.
Oh god.
But the Lookout survivors. Her Chi-Chi's gone, and fighting Gotenks in the Room of Spirit and Time, being momentarily trapped there and literally screaming time and space apart to escape. Piccolo and Gotenks are still trapped in the hyperbolic time chamber there, and Super Boo's got the run of the whole Lookout with a bunch of people who couldn't hope to stop him, trying to hide like it's a game of Dead by Daylight.
And if I remember correctly, they don't show anything specifically.
It is heavily implied that he turned them all into chocolate and gobbled them up.
Yes. There are
Save Dende, who managed to escape.
There are silhouettes, flashes of light, and screaming.
Comprised mostly of the non-combatants and children.
It is haunting.
If Krillin wasn't already amongst the people who got slaughtered like this, I imagine seeing his wife and daughter go this way would piss him off enough to at least attempt to fight back. Fast forwarding a little bit to the whole, well, to the, what I call the second part of the human extinction attack, we have Kid Buu just immediately and spontaneously deciding to blow up the Earth within like 5 seconds of existing.
Oh yeah, that happened.
Kid Buu, otherwise referred to as Pure Buu, because this is what he was created as. This was his original form. This is a rare case where I cannot, in good faith, call Kid Buu evil so much as just chaos incarnate.
Much like our beloved Taro, he is a gremlin.
What, like our beloved Taro here, Kid Buu doesn't have the mental capacity to discern between good and evil. He cannot have morality if he does not understand it.
What's morality? Can they eat it?
I see what you did there with that joke, and I appreciate it. Now, about the back and forth between different parts of the Buu saga, here's what I was alluding to. So, one of the most disturbing things Majin Buu did before turning into Super Buu. So, in his rampage across the Earth while the kids are training to fuse and whatnot, he stumbles upon a village where there is a singular person he cannot terrorize. A blind child. Buu restores his sight with his magical powers because he believes that if the kid could see him, he'd be scared. The kid is more impressed at the fact that his vision was restored, and he's thankful and praising Majin Buu for this, calling him the best friend he's ever had. And Buu doesn't know how to process this. So, Buu just kind of momentarily pauses his rampage and asks what the kid was doing before Buu found him. And the kid mentions he was going to get milk. So, Buu tells him to wait there, he'd go get it. And this is what makes it the most disturbing thing Fat Buu has ever done. He does give the kid the milk, but it was transformed via the transfiguration beam from multiple innocent people. The kid never finds out.
God.
And if memory serves, this was a filler episode.
What is it with filler episodes being so damn disturbing?
They have to find content to hold over until the manga is ready to keep going. And they've only got so much to work with, so they figure it's basically non-canon anyway. Yeah. And that's not even bringing up Majin Buu's house that he built.
Did he build that out of people too?
Yes. He turned a bunch of people into giant globs of chewing gum, which he proceeded to chew up, spit out, and pat into the rough shape of the house he wanted, and then transformed that gum into concrete.
Okay, I'm confused. I have the Red Skull key. Why can I not?
Weird. Like, I'm certain you're picking up what I'm putting down when I bring up why Buu is my favorite villain. On the surface, he's silly, but once you look past that surface, he is goddamn horrifying.
Yep. Absolutely.
Are the other sagas better written and put together? Yes. Gods, yes. The Buu saga was what happened when you basically let Toriyama off the leash and told him he could write whatever he wanted because this was basically the last saga anyways. This was his victory lap.
I was told that he wasn't given free reign.
For the Buu saga, yeah, no, he was told to do whatever he wanted, to my understanding, which is why he made it one big, comedic, silly villain arc with all of this horror shit underneath. They let him go nuts. The Cell saga, no, that's when the leash was at its tightest.
That might be what I'm thinking of.
Because he had to redesign the android threat multiple times. originally, the android threat was going to be Dr. Gero and his accomplice as androids 19 and 20. I'm not sure which one was which. I'd have to rewatch the show.
I want to say he was 19.
But then Toriyama's current editor was like, that's just a pair of old men, one of whom is a clown. Come on, you gotta do better than that. People are gonna lose interest. So he designed 16, 17, and 18. Well, but they're just teenagers.
And a really big guy with red hair.
And thus, Cell, who also had complaints, but was at least approved.
I can only imagine that,
The complaint being he was too complex.
oh my fucking god.
Too many spots. So this one's not actually a complaint of the editor. It's from Toriyama having to draw it.
Ah, okay, that makes sense.
It's why Cell goes through multiple forms again. The complaint from upper management there was that, well, he's a freaking little string bean there. That doesn't look like a threat. That'd be perfect, Cell. What the hell is that on his face? Are those his lips? Are we allowed to do that?
Looks at Mr. Popo. Oh.
I'd say carry on. We still need a better design. Perfect, Cell. Okay, no notes.
Absolute cinema.
Yeah, no. See, after her getting all of the, the Cell Saga was one of the most successful sagas in Dragon Ball history. Despite all the behind-the-scenes drama.
It also introduced an idea of time travel that seems to be the most scientifically accurate version of time travel.
At least until Xenoverse popped up and goes, oh no, it's actually not an infinite multiverse. These are still limited timelines that do get overwritten partially. What? Oh yeah, there's only like 7 timelines in Dragon Ball Z. Conflicting with the idea that each movie was also its own separate individual timeline. And the whole multiversal aspect of you know, Xenoverse and the games connected to it.
Also, everything that was brought up in Super.
Like, no, there is an infinite multiverse, just in separate categories here. It functions a lot like the Transformers multiverse in that respect. Where there's, like, multiversal clusters, but it's still an infinite multiverse. Where you can categorize the universes by the specific type. Like, oh, that's a G1 universe. It goes over in the Primax cluster. This one's for RID 2001, so it goes in the Viron cluster. And so on. That is how I've come to interpret the multiple universes and their timelines in Dragon Ball Super. And for the most part, the way Xenoverse behaves does kind of, you know, agree with it. It's just a case of management not knowing what the fuck they're talking about.
Still, though, we got the most scientifically accurate version of time travel in the Cell Saga. And then they go, no, let's make it more fantastical. Because, like, Avengers Endgame went with the DBZ method of time travel, and like they're talking about this, right? And Paul Rudd's character is like, so Back to the Future lied? And I'm just like, okay, you need at least one millennial in this group, because one of them is just gonna go, it's DBZ rules. I fucking knew it.
If Peter Parker were in the room, that would have absolutely been the case.
I don't know.
He's referenced the original trilogy as those old Star Wars movies. Right before pulling AT-AT trick maneuver. Yes, I deliberately pronounced it AT-AT to piss people off.
Okay, question, when did Iron Man 2 come out?
Honestly, closer to 09.
Okay. Cross-reference the release of Iron Man 2 with Dragon Ball Z. I love how I say that like I'm in a freaking crime drama.
Well, it wasn't far off. Iron Man 2 released on May 7th, 2010. At least in the United States.
Okay.
Now, if we're talking the original Dragon Ball manga version of the Cell Saga, we're looking at the late 80s, early 90s.
What if I'm thinking...
It's specifically referring to the debut of the character here, but Cell himself appeared in the anime May 9th, 1992. I'm going to rewrite Cell Saga with Android Saga and see if that changes the answer here. February 12th, 1992 in Japan. The American air date was September 14th, 2000.
Okay.
Pete is definitely too young for that because, do you remember the kid that Tony saves? The one with the toy Iron Man helmet?
Yeah, that's why I brought it up.
That's Peter.
Yeah. They retroactively made that Peter. Which, like, some people were eye-rolling at that, but I think it's cool.
It also explains why he basically put Iron Man on a pedestal. Mm-hmm. Dude directly saved his life once. That said, I do think Peter could have still caught it on TV if it was the broadcast of Dragon Ball Z Kai.
But also reruns. Because I'm pretty sure like they did reruns.
Oh, a lot of them. It's just that at the time he was growing up, we'd be seeing, I guess, reruns, if you want to call them that, of DBZ Kai on, like... Well, they were on Adult Swim in their uncensored form, but believe it or not, they also aired on the Saturday morning blocks, let's say, Vortex, for instance. One of the last ones to ever exist. And on freaking Nicktoons Network.
Fuck.
Yeah. And you can thank Nicktoons Network's version of the DBZ Kai broadcast for Blue Popo.
Ah, yes, Blue Popo. I still remember when Mr. Popo ate Blue Popo.
Yep. I remember the moment I found out that Mr. Popo was the primordial ooze that basically started all of reality. In the DBZ Abridged-verse.
I was going to say... I don't quite remember that episode.
Yeah, no, they basically added that retroactively onto the DBZ Abridged lore in their TFS playthroughs of the Xenoverse games. In Xenoverse 1, they played a Majin character by the name of Dumplin', and over time, he started getting more and more twisted and more like Popo. Which then culminated with them obtaining Mr. Popo's complete outfit and putting it on him. And in the YouTube version of that video, as opposed to the live stream when it first happened, the YouTube upload briefly has the screen go black with Popo's eyes and distant echoes of his laughter before her cutting back to the character in the Mr. Popo outfit and the TFS guys going, "What just happened?"
Just ignore the fact that I kept getting squished.
Was it a back massage machine?
No, just imagine every time the Doomslayer was squished, you just hear a squeaky toy noise.
Yep. Now I can't unhear it. And this then brings into question, what exactly is DBZ abridged to the rest of the Dragon Ball multiverse? In TFS canon at the very bare minimum. Well, the DBZ abridged timeline is a timeline formed from the incorrect memories of Popo. All the changes from original canon are because he's remembering it wrong.
So the whole thing about him being whatever the fuck he is in Abridged.
I mean, that much is accurate enough to the TFS lore for what Popo is. The primordial being that basically started the multiverse. But, his false memories, the incorrect memories, I guess you'd say, eventually spawned into their own mini-multiverse. The abridged timeline exists because Popo was trying to reminisce on the history he had with his, air quotes, friends, and just remembering it wrong. And because he's such an all-powerful being, those incorrect memories turned into their own timeline. And since we're bringing up since I brought up the Boo bits, the shorts that TFS did with Totally Not Mark, I might as well bring up one of the shorts they did for original Dragon Ball when Mark was going over that. We got to see Goku entering the lookout for the first time, looking for Kami. And he finds Popo. And the first thing Goku asks him upon seeing Popo feeding the birds is, "Are you God?" And Popo's response is, "Not the one you're looking for."
Yeah, that's Popo.
Yeah. Either way, I've yabbered on about my favorite saga plenty. What about you?
Well, as I said, my favorite saga is the
Android saga for its time travel, I believe you were saying?
Yep.
Fair enough. As far as Dragon Ball's writing is concerned, that was probably the tightest it's ever been. Despite all the drama behind the scenes.
Yeah, and the fact that there's like 4 timelines as a result of that mess.
In at least 2 of them, Trunks dies.
Yes, I think. Yes. There was the original where everything went to shit. Goku died. Everything led to Trunks' bad future.
And ultimately, him using the time machine to go back.
Yes. However, in this version of events, what'd that do? Did that do anything?
So, if memory serves, because he used the time machine to go back, he not only altered the past, but he kind of made a duplicate of the timeline he just came from.
Well, yes, basically. He changed the future of the present, but not his past.
His timeline is still unaltered, for those who don't speak time travel.
Yes. And also, in this version of events, they use the shutdown codes for the androids. So, when Trunks went back to his era, he was not strong enough. Well, first of all, he deactivated the androids in his era, but he was not strong enough to fight Cell. Cell then killed him.
Partially because he ambushed the guy.
Mm-hmm. Returned to like a larval state.
Because his current imperfect form was too big for the time machine.
And then went back in time. Further than
Trunks had.
Yes. Causing the third timeline where everything happened. Bad timeline. Trunks goes back in time. But in this sequence of events. The shutdown codes are pretty much useless. And with Cell there, it causes everyone to to train more, get stronger. And eventually lead to a different outcome. With this version of Trunks surviving at the end because he was strong enough to not only destroy his androids 17 and 18, he was strong enough to destroy Cell.
I believe, if memory serves, he also said that the ones in his future were actually weaker than the 17 and 18 in the, well, relative past.
I think he did say something like that.
No, wait, it was the other way around. The ones in the past were stronger.
Where the fuck are the keys?
To quote Abridged one more time, Multiverse Theory is a bitch.
Mm-hmm. Fuck it, I'm cheating. I'm just gonna cheat and get the keys. That's the yellow skull key.
How are we supposed to get it if it was here past the door?
I don't know.
Ricky. We don't have the squeaky toy noise for the soundbites here, but
How the fuck am I supposed to get out of this? Oh! Fuck, that's how. Okay. Whew.
yeah. So, therein lies an interesting question I have to pose with all the time travel bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is gonna go into Dragon Ball GT, fair warning. But, in Dragon Ball GT, we actually get to go into Hell and see what it's like. And we do find basically all of the past villains there, which makes sense. Just ignore the fact that the movie villains are also here. this extends to Cell. We do see Perfect Cell in Hell here. My question is this. If events, at bare minimum, similar if not identical to the Cell Saga happened in this timeline, then shouldn't there be two versions of Cell here?
Actually, yes. You're right, there should be.
For my own Xenoverse backstory, since I did go into GT for it, I did acknowledge that. But, yeah. Assuming Perfect Cell didn't just absorb his imperfect self out of spite, because they kind of deliberately ignored a Dragon Ball Afterlife rule that really shouldn't have made this possible. So, in GT, when each villain was killed in Hell, they just respawned in Hell because they were already dead and already in Hell. You were very much seeing the same problem I did. Dragon Ball's Afterlife rules state that, yeah, if you died and were allowed to keep your body, like most of the Dragon Ball cast were, if you were to die after... Well, if you were to die a second time with your body in the afterlife, or in your one day on Earth, basically, if you were to die and you had that halo over your head, you would just cease to exist. If you died a second time when you were already dead, there would be nothing left. You would just poof. I guess things work different for Hell. Like, that bit about going poof was what added tension for Vegeta and Goku both during the Buu Saga, as at various points, one or both of them were dead and had to have the Halo. Goku even warns Vegeta about dying with the Halo. But, yeah, simply put, there should be, bare minimum, two versions of Cell in Hell.
Unless one beat the other.
Which is a possibility, though I'd at least like to... Well, I guess we're not even going to have to see it acknowledged because we really haven't seen Cell in Hell, so... Like, outside of GT, we haven't seen him in the afterlife, so it is legitimately possible that he was deemed soulless, and thus there was nothing to go to Hell.
Honestly, if that were the case, I'd be laughing my ass off.
What a bridge. I'd say he's gone to a better place, but we both know he never had a soul. One of the best lines they'd ever come up with. So, we've tackled favorites. What's a Dragon Ball saga or moment you absolutely did not like?
Alright. There's a moment that traumatized me.
Brings that outburst back into the context. Let's hear it.
So, there was an episode where Gohan training Piccolo. And he ends up finding a bunch of orphans. Said orphans are trying to get away from an orphanage, I guess, that's trying to split them all up. And I didn't understand any of that at the time, so I just thought these adults were trying to just capture the kids for whatever reason. And the whole thing just ends with like most of the kids being captured, and then Gohan and the leader of the orphans, they're on the run, but they managed to I want to say they caught Gohan, but then the leader jumps in, saves Gohan, but he gets captured instead, and tells Gohan to run. Gohan eventually runs and ends up running back into Piccolo, who I don't think scolded him or anything. But like all that happened and it's never brought up again.
Nature filler.
So like what happened to those kids? Keep in mind, I did not fully understand the whole that those people worked with an orphanage.
Yeah, like as a kid, without that context, you were freaking out.
I was terrified.
It's not so much, like for me, it's not so much an episode as it is a character that I just cannot stand.
Is it Krillin's girlfriend?
Honestly, there are moments I forget she exists, so no. It's old Kai.
Right.
Old Kai, in my eyes, is just honestly, a less charismatic copy clone of Master Roshi.
Yeah.
Already had issues with Master Roshi. Even as a kid, I thought he was a little creepy. So, to give Roshi credit where it's due, he did eventually put in the work to try to train that perversion out of him.
And like when he stepped up, he fucking stepped up.
Like, the man earned the respect I give him. Elder Kai, not as much.
Elder Kai's literally a MacGuffin.
Like, he literally just sits there with Gohan for like a full 24 hours to unlock his potential. Which, first off, Gohan had his potential unlocked twice? Second off, Super Kami Guru over there did that in seconds. You might have to just skip the level if it's gonna keep pulling, like, bullshit like this. You're already at the exit anyway.
Yeah, but...
I'll get the fire extinguisher just in case. I mean, it is hell. Yeah. I think outside of, you know, Mystic Gohan there, the most useful that Elder Kai was in DBZ proper was deliberately giving up his life to bring Goku back without needing the Dragon Balls.
Yeah.
Because, like, he's already where he would have gone if he died, so the only thing that literally changed was that he basically took Goku's halo and said, alright, you're alive now, get out.
This is mine now, leave.
The only thing I found funny about how Elder Kai is the retroactive reason he was in that sword in the first place. Pissed off Beerus.
Ah!
Because he was the reigning Supreme Kai at the time, Beerus couldn't destroy him. As killing the Supreme Kai would mean self-deleting. Because as the gods of creation and destruction, the currently appointed Supreme Kai and currently appointed God of Destruction are eternally linked. To unalive one gets rid of the other.
So he just stuffed his ass into a sword.
Until the next one could be selected and take over. And because Majin Buu kind of happened while Beerus was napping, the eventual next Supreme Kai wound up being Shin. The only Supreme Kai I've ever seen who was even less effective than the old Kai. Say what you will about the old Kai being a MacGuffin, at least he did something to help advance the plot after his, initial whole debut couple of episodes. And at least he still actively contributes in other media. At what point did Shin step in and put himself at risk? Like, ever. After her, Majin Vegeta went nuts.
Fusion earrings?
Okay, I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one because, Vegito.
Oh, there's
Like, if Vegito hadn't... Like, if he hadn't been playing with his food, he could have killed Super Buu then and there.
Mm-hmm.
Because really, if you think about it, they could have just murked Super Buu then and there and just wished back everyone he'd absorbed.
Yellow, red, blue. Alright. That should unlock the exit. Just need to get back there.
I also find it hilarious that neither of us has the Frieza saga as our favorite, despite that being arguably the most famous part of DBZ.
I mean,
And that's not...
it's good, don't
You
get me
first.
wrong.
Like, it is good. It gave us a lot more world building for the universe, showed us that other sets of Dragon Balls exist. It showed us Piccolo's home planet.
It changed the setting from fantasy to sci-fi.
I mean, we'd already shifted from primarily gags to primarily action long ago, so it only makes sense. There were already certain sci-fi elements even from the beginning with the capsule tech.
Well, yeah, but it was also like the original Dragon Ball was more so Journey to the West than anything else.
In its own way. A reminder of the original Dragon Ball also brought up another character I can't stand. It's a very similar remix to the old Kai. Hello, Oolong.
Oh, yes. I mean...
Like, worse than just being a horn dog like he was also a coward. Who literally had to be tricked into thinking his life was in danger to actively help the heroes.
To be fair, he did save the world.
He did. Like, as ridiculous as his wish was, I'll give him the fact that he saved the world. In, the most comedic way they could think of at the time. Wishing for underwear.
Damn it. Son of
Like, again, in hindsight, a lot of the characters from original Dragon Ball did not really make the transition into Z very well. Or Yamcha was already getting bullied before Z even started. Because he originally started off as a competent fighter and one that actually managed to beat Goku in a couple of encounters, he became the measuring stick for which his future villains would show competence.
Yep.
A fate Krillin would also experience later on. And also, you know, Yamcha experiencing character assassination didn't help either. Supposedly, the reason Bulma broke up with him was because she caught him cheating on her. Right, the guy that was terrified of even talking to women and only really came out of his shell thanks to interacting with you is now cheating on you.
Believe it or not, I have seen that happen before.
I mean, I gotta chalk that up to the time skip between original Dragon Ball and Z, because there was no hints of something like this happening in the OG series. One moment, I have been summoned by a Kraken. I have returned. Kraken gave her own opinions on Dragon Ball Cult. To summarize, she thinks that the cheating thing was an excuse they both came to. Bulma not wanting to lose face with breaking up with him for basically getting bored with him, and Yamcha being too nice to contradict her.
Yeah.
Because, like, from what we see in OG Dragon Ball, he seemed like a ride or die kind of guy, so... yeah. And all I can picture is just Puar sitting there rolling his eyes. I've listed 2 characters I can't stand. What about you? Any people in Dragon Ball cast that you just could do without?
No one really comes to mind, because anyone that I could have said was already sidelined by the time Z started.
When I say Dragon Ball, I mean encompassing the entire franchise, not just as prior to Z.
I know. But like most of the characters I didn't like were from Z. Or from the original.
Well, even if they became irrelevant by the time of Z, the irritation still happened.
Oh, Krillin's girlfriend.
Yeah, Marin's a piece of work.
I did love how in DBZ Bridge they turned her into,
I work for the government. I never said I was a good person.
yeah, they turned her into an IRS agent.
I knew they were gonna have to pay off that bit about Krillin taking out a life insurance policy on himself. The schemes a man who already died once would come up with. Which, to be fair to Krillin, is it really fraud if he did technically die only to be brought back?
As far as the government's concerned, yes.
It is the government.
On the government. On the government.
Government.
On the reason
nothing works. If that ain't a topical joke. Or, more accurately, a timeless one that'll never go out of style. If I had to pick my least favorite antagonist in all of Dragon Ball, Pilaf.
Oh, man.
Now, keep in mind, least favorite, not most hated. I do still find his antics occasionally funny. I just think he's a little too stubborn for his own good. And Kraken, everybody. Classifying Chi-Chi as an antagonist.
Yeah, well...
Keyword, antagonist, not villain.
Okay, fair.
Basically, to sum up what Kraken said, same joke, more knowledge welcome.
Our concerns don't change with it. And I would love to delete the Supreme, like, the old Kai. Because I would love to see Dende or the younger Kai actually get to do something except be verbal explanations of everything going on right now.
Or in Dende's case, an occasional white mage.
They're supposed to be boosting the power. I'd like to get them to actually see to do something. Dende has his moments, but like, the younger Kai literally is only here to ever explain things to the audience because the Supreme Kai's explaining shit to him.
I mean, even Kami squared up once or twice.
Why are you here?
Yeah, even Kami squared up once or twice. Now, you want a villain I absolutely cannot stand?
Oh, do tell.
Frieza's ancestor from the from the
Bardock special,
Bardock
I guess.
specials.
Lord Chilled.
Yeah. First of all, that special had no reason to exist.
The best thing to ever happen to that special was Dragon Ball Z Abridged turning all the Proto Saiyans into Kermit the Frog impressions. And Bardock's breakdown at the end when he realized those things were supposed to be Proto Saiyans.
Yeah, he gets so pissed off. Like,
oh, that's stupid! Stupid! Travel book. That was all I had. Proceed.
So, yeah, no, like, Bardock in the abridged version just getting so fucking pissed off to the level of Goku when Krillin died.
Apt comparison considering both instances of rage sparks the gold hair.
Mm-hmm. I think that is fucking funny, but at the end of the day, I feel like that special was not needed.
Like, the original Bardock special ending with him dying when Frieza blew up planet Vegeta, that was perfect. That was all we needed.
Mm-hmm. Him with the vision.
It did not require a sequel.
Him with the vision that his son would avenge the Saiyan race.
And dying content in that knowledge.
With also not realizing his son would kind of forsake his Saiyan heritage.
At least for a time.
Yeah, eventually. I do remember he did eventually.
Like, it took Goku a while to accept that Saiyan heritage. He still is primarily the man from Earth, but he's also not going to deny he came from the stars. In his mind, what should it matter where I came from? I am who I am.
Well,
Just took him a while to come to that conclusion.
the only reason he's the way he is because he hit his head as a baby.
Did you believe there was almost an attempted retcon that Super Saiyan as a transformation exists because of a dedicated cell that had only really started, you know, kicking in and reproducing enough to happen because Goku received that head trauma?
Are you talking about the S cells or whatever they're called?
Yep. That was... Like, they attempted to make that a thing for a while.
My God, it was like the midichlorians all over again.
Yeah. Thankfully, they wised up and dropped it immediately.
So glad they did, because that's just... No.
But as far as Super Saiyan and biology is concerned, there is one thing they did kind of hint at that I am okay with. Humans are a lot more in tune with their emotions societally and just, you know, we're built to experience that bold ranking more naturally. So the idea that a half Saiyan that is at least part human, having a stronger Super Saiyan transformation due to that connection to their emotions, it makes a degree of sense to me.
And then you have Trunks and Goten who went Super Saiyan when they were like 8.
To quote the Prince of all Saiyans, it's like a Super Saiyan bargain sale!
They ever
So-
explain how that was even possible?
Not to my knowledge. The only thing I'm willing to give them credit for is that even though they received the Super Saiyan transformation so much earlier than anyone else up to that point, at least Goten and Trunks were still actively training in combat. Vegeta was training Trunks, so, you know, you've got that bit of father-son time going on. He's at least trying in his own way. And for all the guff we give Chi-Chi, he did eventually relent and start training Goten to fight. Despite personally hating fighting herself.
This is gonna sound mean, but I feel like Chi-Chi took one look at Goten, looked back at Goten,
Why struggle against the inevitable, right?
At least with Gohan, he never wanted to fight.
What he wanted was to spend time with his parents and you know, live his life.
It always like bothered me saying
Gohan was at his best when he went Super Saiyan 2, and it was all downhill from there.
yeah,
Like, in terms of power, that was true for a time, but you also have to remember the cost of that power.
also, like, he never wanted to fight. I mean, yeah, he studying wasn't necessarily what he wanted to do either, but like,
He eventually did realize he wanted to be a scholar, but like, as far as martial arts training was concerned, that was basically just exercise he did with his dad to spend time with him on his level.
also, oh, what the fuck is that?
And also, I'm just going to point this out there for everybody who still insists Goku's a bad dad. First 4 or 5-ish years of Gohan's life, he did not force training onto Gohan at all. He let Gohan do he let Gohan do his studying and just figured whatever makes you happy. And he was present. Whenever he could be, he was present.
Then he was
Because he was spending half that time dead, and the other half training to fight so he wouldn't be dead, and sometimes both.
and that one time he was lost.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that makes him a bad dad. I'm just saying he wasn't around for a lot of Gohan.
Which, as I'm pointing out, if he had his way, he would have been. Really think about it. For the first handful of years of Gohan's life, when it was just nothing but peace, Goku was supportive and present. And even when they had to scrape in what time they could between universal threats and space travel, Goku still spent as much time as he could with his boy because, you know, that's just what he wanted to do. they had that week of downtime between finishing training and the Cell game. And Goku chooses to spend as much time as he can just being there for his family. He's urging him to make Goten with her notwithstanding.
So, I will say, Gohan essentially had two fathers.
I perceive Piccolo's role more like an uncle than a second dad, but those are both valid.
Yes, they are. Because as you established, Goku did want to be there for his kid. It's just that,
Half his time training, the other half dead, sometimes both, but keep in mind, every time Goku wound up dead, it was to protect his kids.
The fate of a shonen protagonist. The mother of all demons is dead. Blood pours from your eyes as you stand in defiance. As the only Marine to endure the slaughter, you decide to remain in hell, ensure no demon rises again. The end. I just write a little question mark on there.
We'll see once we hit 2016.
I was gonna do chronological order.
Oh, right. There was a game in between this and 2016.
No, there wasn't. Well, I mean, chronological-wise, yes. Dark Ages.
Wasn't it 2016 Dark Ages then Eternal?
No. Because Dark Ages is when... Dark Ages was essentially when he... not long after he became the Doom Slayer.
Oh, right. My bad. So, for those of us who are clearly not exactly well versed, what game is next?
Dark Ages.
Well, it's about to get a lot more three-dimensional.
Mm-hmm.
Arguably a lot bloodier.
Hell Knight. Baron of Hell. Arachnotron.
Said, what exactly is our order of operations here? Are we just going straight into Dark Ages, or are we gonna call it quits until next week?
We're gonna have to call it quits because I have to move down Dark Ages.
Fair enough.
The Cyber Demon. And he's gone. Our hero.
Split!
Alright.
Nope. Yeah.
That's Doom 64.
And arguably one of our shortest streams.
Yeah, a little bit.
Not shortest, just shorter.
So, to finally put a pin on the whole Gohan conversation, I I do not like the people that think that Gohan is a bad character because he decided not to keep fighting. Gohan was never a fighter to begin with. However,
he's just kind of in the wrong universe to be like this.
well, yes and no. When Gohan has to step up, he does step up. We did have that one Dragon Ball Super movie.
Superhero.
Yes, where he
finally found his combat life balance.
Yep. And he got back to the level he was at, and possibly even beyond, from the Cell games.
It's really no secret that the Beast Gohan form is designed to visually evoke Super Saiyan 2 Gohan from the Cell games.
Mm-hmm. Like, if Gohan was like his father, he would be the strongest person in the universe. Hands down. But he's not his father.
And that's part of why we love him.
Exactly. Sure, he helped save the world and also kind of got shafted because of Gogito. Or no, Vegito?
Vegito.
Vegito.
The Metamoran fusion was Gogeta.
Right.
The Potara fusion was Vegito.
He got shafted because Vegito. But he did help. He did help. He got the girl. And now he's a father himself.
Which brings me back to why I describe Piccolo as more of an uncle figure in my eyes, because of the role he now plays for Pan. Like, even the main continuity Dragon Ball stuff is acknowledging the more parental role that Piccolo has gradually shifted to.
Which is honestly kind of wholesome considering how he started.
Yep.
Alright. That is gonna be it for today. Thank you all for watching. This has been Vegas Bear 92.
And Mekumon.
And there will be no stream tomorrow because it's my day off. However, for those who are in the Discord, we will be watching tomorrow night. We will be watching The Color Out of Space, starring Nicolas Cage.
Ooh, that's gotta be fun.
That was supposed to be last week's movie,
but there was a bit of a scheduling thing.
Someone wanted to watch Repo, the Genetic Opera, and was acting like if they didn't see it soon, they would die.
And considering the way that night was described to have gone down, I'm kind of thankful I missed it.
Well, Color Out of Space, well,
I mean, it's a Nicolas Cage movie, so it's gonna have some goofy elements.
a few, but there's a very there's a very clear point in the movie where it shifts to horror, and it's basically like the point of no return warning in video games. If you don't want to see the hell that is going to be unleashed, leave now. But
So, I do have request for what it will be the 12th of this month, next week, in regards to the movie. I want to see the first Alien movie.
I will see if I can make that happen.
You've shown me Predator. It's time I saw Alien. Because, like, Predator, RoboCop, that's two of the three I wanted to see, but I never had the chance to.
Let's see. It's available to rent or buy on Amazon. How much we talking? Oh, that's not too bad for a rent. Oh, that's not too bad for a buy.
I'll take that as a good sign.
It's like $8 right now.
Woo!
In fact, on second thought, do I really want to buy it though? Because I'm only ever gonna watch it the one time with.
With whoever decides to join us.
Yeah.
I would recommend just renting it.
Yeah, I think I'll just do that. I'll rent it. I'll rent it once we get closer to the 12th, or just rent it on the 12th. But anyway, yeah, no stream tomorrow, but Thursday. As long as everyone shows up and no one gets sick or sleepy, we will be starting Super Robot Wars Y. And I'm excited. With how far I've gotten on my own playthrough, I'm excited.
You know, I looked ahead to see what December is going to look like calendar-wise and kind of figure out what's falling on what day. I'm going to be in a very Endless Waltz kind of mood come the week of Christmas, because Christmas Day falls on a Thursday.
Ooh.
Thursday. Christmas Day, the 25th, is a Thursday. And Christmas Eve is Wednesday. You probably know what I'm going to ask about, but there's Endless Waltz or War in the Pocket. They're both Gundam Christmas movies.
Seeing as how I don't want to traumatize myself again, let's see if Endless Waltz is available.
Hey, if we do Endless Waltz, we can guarantee Deva's gonna show up. It's Gundam Wing, after all.
Yep.
We should probably check on this after we finish the outro.
Yep. Oh shit! It's only on Crunchyroll. Luckily, my brother has a subscription. Anyway, right.
If only I had a disk drive for the laptop here that I've got, which I can probably get by then. I have it on DVD. If I can figure out how to screen share that, we'd be golden.
Oh yeah, we would. Alright. Thank you all for watching. We did that bit already. If you like what we do and want to see us keep doing it, feel free to support us in any way you wish. If you wish to support us monetarily, you can do so at the link below on the Twitch stream or Twitch VOD. The link is only there on Twitch. It's not on YouTube.
If you want to support us in other ways, you can interact with the stream, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and rewatch our older streams there.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, as always, there's sharing us around in clips or other form. Every little bit helps.
Yep. And
Tell your friends, your family, your neighbors, your enemies. That one weird guy down the street who keeps looking at you funny.
that one guy behind the Jack in the Box who looks like Jesus.
The dude on the oatmeal box.
If anyone gets that reference, like I love you.
I mean, heck, my reference to the guy on the oatmeal box is probably gonna spark at least one person's nostalgia.
With that all said and done, stay safe, stay comfy, stay hydrated, stay healthy, be good to each other, and we will see y'all on the next one. Peace.
Rip and tear.
Until it is done!